Welcome back, gang. So what we're going to do now is we are going to focus on covering our browser router via React Router DOM. Okay, so what we want to do here first is, since we have installed our React Router DOM package, we are going to come into our index.js, and then we are just going to type in or install import. Okay, and then browser router, just like that. Oh, not equals, from, and then you can just type in React Router DOM and it's going to come up just like that. So now the last thing that we are going to do here is we are just going to, I love this option or this feature that if you just type in here, it'll take out from the closing and closing tag as well, which is awesome. And then we're going to type in browser router just like that. And it's pretty much done. So because this is what's going to be in your app, and just make sure that the app is in between the browser router and the closing browser router here. Okay, so once you have that, you can just go ahead and exit the index.js. So now what we're going to do is we are going to pretty much install or import our browser router as well, or inside of our app.js. But before doing that, we have to know what kind of pages and what kind of components that we're going to use. So what we're going to use is we're going to have a navbar as our component, and then we are going to have a few pages here. We're going to have our home page, we're going to have a create a blog page, and we are going to have our blog profile page. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So what you want to do first is you want to come into your source folder, and then just create a new folder here. And this one is going to be called components. Okay, that way all of your components that you create are going to be found in one single folder, one single place, named components. And then after that, what we're going to create is another folder, and we're going to call this pages. So these are the pages, once again, that you can click on to go into that page. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are just going to, in components, we're going to create a file, and we are going to create a navbar.js file. Okay, perfect. Let's just delete this and delete the block schema. Okay, so now what we're going to do here is in our pages, we are going to create our pages. So we want our home page, home.js file, create another one, and we can name this one create blog.js. That's going to be create a blog page. And lastly, we can create another file, which is going to be our blog profile.js. Okay, and perfect. So just like that. Now what I'm going to do is pretty much you have to import them as well. And what you can do is you can install this extension if you don't have it, which is pretty cool. It's called I have it here, ES7 React Redux React Native. And what it does is it lets you easily use some snippets here. That way you don't have to type this whole thing in, the function. And it's just pretty fast as well. So remember, it's ES7 here. Okay. So once you install it, you'll be able just to type in RFC, and you'll be able to just choose it, and you can have this function made then and there. Okay, so that's what we're going to do for the rest of the pages here. So we have that RFCE, and then function, RFCE, function, and then RFCE, and then function. Perfect. So we have this up and running. So now what we're going to do is we are going to go back to our app.js and just type in our routes. So we are going to type in import, and then route, and then route, just like that, from React Router DOM. Okay, just like that. And normally you have just like sometimes it just comes and sometimes it goes, but you're able to do things easily. Like if you go back a little bit to when we were setting up our index.js file, we just typed in from and then React, and it already gave us the option. I don't know why lately it hasn't been doing that for me, but just typing everything in manually does help as well. Keep that muscle memory going. That way you don't forget, right? Perfect. So what we're going to do now is we are going to create our routes. So the first one is going to be our nav bar, and our nav bar is going to be on every page there. So we can just leave it here outside of the routes, and then we can make our routes just like that. Okay. So instead of using our component just like that, we're going to include it in a different way. So we are going to be using route just like this, and it's going to be self-enclosing. Okay, just like that. So now what we're going to do is inside of the route, we are going to say path, just like that, and then we are going to make the path. So we want this to be the home page, and the home page usually is tied into just the / here. Okay, and then after that, we want to type in element with the curly brackets, or equals to curly brackets, and then this is where we are going to put in our component. So we're gonna type in our home component, okay, just like that. And as I mentioned before, sometimes you're able to just have it easily installed or imported. Try on your system as well, but as I mentioned before, for some reason it hasn't been working on mine. But an easy way to do it is if you come out here and you press Control and space, it should give you the option of just installing it and clicking home, and it'll be imported here. But for some reason it has been working on mine lately, which kind of sucks, but once again, it does help out doing everything manually. So we'll do that afterwards. So now what you're going to do is you're going to make this a few more times for the rest of your pages here. So you're just going to copy and then paste it, and then paste it again. Okay, so now in the second one, we're going to make this create blog, and then we're just going to change this to create blog here, component. And then lastly, this one we want our blog I can't spell, blog profile, and then this one we want to change the component to blog profile, just like that. Okay, and perfect. So the last thing that we have to do here is make sure that you import them, because if you don't import them with React, it'll definitely tell you any errors, and it's going to be a lot if you don't import them. So let's go ahead and import them. So we are going to first import our nav bar. So just like this, import nav bar from, and then / choose the components because it's in the components right here, and then nav bar. Okay, just like that. And then now we're gonna import our pages. So pages home from, and the same thing, but except components, we have it in our pages folder, and then home. Okay, just like that. So now we're just going to copy and paste this a few more times, and then just going to make this create blog, and boom, we have that there. And then do the same thing here. After this, I'm just to be able to use multiple fields just like this. You can just, you're using your Mac, you can press Option and then just click where you want to type. So I want to type here. You click first and then press Option, and then you click anywhere else. So you click there, and then you can type in simultaneously, which is so awesome, so helpful. So here, blog, and then profile, just like that. Okay. So perfect. So as you can see, we pretty much have this done for now. And let me just make sure this is correct. Path, create blog, and okay. So profile, this might be a little something different here. Create blog. It might be different. It might be this here. Sorry about that. Might be blogs. No, actually, no. The path should be that here. The only thing might be different is this. Sorry, guys. So it's going to be blogs. I just want to make sure it's taken to the correct place. Blogs ID. Because remember, the blog profile is going to take us to the ID. Yep. So that's what it is. So once again, it's going to be our home page. The path is going to be / because that's where we're going to get our gets requests. And then we want to create a new blog. So we're going to take the path to create blog. And then we want our blog profile. So it's going to be blogs. And then /blogs /ID. Because remember, as we have it in our server, that's how we have it here. In our get, where is it? Get here. /ID, just like that. Perfect. So now we can start our terminal or our React app. So you just type in npm start, and it should take you to here. Give it a second here, it'll load. And then hopefully we just get a blank page. Perfect. And as you can see, everything's pretty much working perfectly, no errors at the moment, which is always great. Okay, so now you can see you're gonna have your nav bar and then your home page here. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we are going to be working on our nav bar just to finish setting up our React router DOM, or browser router. So let's get right back into it. We go into our nav bar component, and then we just change this to nav, just like this. And then I want this to be an H2. And over here, what I like to do is make our logo just to come up here, and then any features or any links that you want in your nav bar or your pages, you'll have over here. So instead of H2, we want our logo to be our home page. So we're just going to type this in, just like this. Okay, and then we're gonna just type in our H2, and then we are going to type in, we want to call it tech blog, in caps, tech blogs. Okay, and I know we're getting our error here, so let's just import our link here. So the same way that we did it here, where was our app, you could use this whole thing as well. So you can just copy and paste this here. But instead of routes and routes, you're going to use link. So it's almost similar to an href as well, or anchor tag, in which you're able to make your links. Okay, so as you can see, tech blogs, it's here. Okay, perfect. So the next thing that we're going to do is we are just going to make our UL an ordered list, and then inside we are going to do the same thing here, but we're just going to add one more, which is going to be our create a blog page. So we're going to do link, and then li, then you can say create a blog. Okay, and then if you want, I don't like to have my navbar just with 1 or 2 things, so we're just going to add some fillers in. So let's just do this like this, and let's just type in features, about us, and contact us. Okay, just like that. And if you wanted to, like, for future reference, you can use these as pages as well. If you wanted to use as pages, remember just to add them into your pages folder, and then don't forget to add them just like this here. Okay, so let's go back here, navbar. Perfect. So this is how we're going to want it here. So what we're going to do next is we're just going to add to our links. Our link, we're going to add a 2, and then just a /, just like this. Actually, sorry, just a quotes and then / here. That way, once we click here, as you can see down here, it's going to take us to our home page. Okay, and then do the same here, 2. And then we can make this / and create blog, and just make sure it's consistent with this here, create blog. Yep, perfect, create blog. So as you can see, it should take us to create blog, as you can see there. Okay, and if we click it, we should take us to create blog. Look at that, now it's working, right? That's pretty cool. So let's just go back to the home page, and let's just finish setting up our navbar here. So what we're gonna do here is pretty much just set up, and we're going to use some Tailwind CSS. Okay, so in our navbar, we want it to just come up here or bring it up, so we're going to flex it. That way we can bring our UL back up here, and then we want to separate them, and you can just do justify between, just like that. Okay, and then of course we want a border at the bottom, so border B, and then we can just have the color, any color you want. So let's just look at the colors real quick, and we'll just have it cyan, just like this. You have a cyan. Awesome. Although that still looks black, but I guess it's because it's really dark. But yeah, so let's go to the next one. So we want tech blocks to be a little bigger as well. I like to make my logos a little bigger, so just do class name, text, and we'll make it 3XL. Let's take a look how that looks. Perfect. Okay, and let's make this bold as well. So font, and then you can choose medium bold, a semi bold, bold. So let's just make bold here. Perfect. Awesome. And then lastly, if you want to change the color, you can do that as well. So we'll make it orange, and I think let's say 700. No, I'm not liking that color. 500. Okay, 600 should be good. Okay, perfect. So we'll just leave it 600 here. Okay. Now, lastly, what we're going to do is we are going to work on our UL, unordered list. So we just make it a class name, and then we are also going to flex this here, and then we are going to say gap just to separate them, and we're going to say let's use 7. That way you'll see this separate perfect, just like that. Okay. And then lastly, I forgot to add here, we want to add our padding. That way it's not too close to the top. We want to make it, let's say 6 padding, and perfect, just like that. And then we want this just to be a little centered along with this here. So you can just say item centered, and it should bring it down, and perfect. So look at that, guys. Now you have a pretty cool nav bar here. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is, I just have the tendency, I want to see like these pages just in the middle before anything, and we're just gonna set that up real quick before going on to the next video. So I want to call this home, and then let me say H1, and I'll say home. Okay, and then I want this to be text center, and then you want the say text, let's make it 2XL. Okay, perfect. And let's just, with the div, let's just bring this down with a padding, and we should be all set here. Perfect, just like that. And so we're just going to copy this if you want. If not, you can do it manually as well. So we are just going to copy actually and paste this whole thing, that way we don't have to write it into here. Okay, and then this one was create, we can do it in caps, create a blog. Okay, and perfect. So you just go to create a blog page, and look at that, guys, create a blog. Perfect. How cool is that, right? So you just, it's pretty cool just going back and forth between them. And once again, these are just fillers. If you wanted to, you can make these into pages, and then that way you can put your skills to the test. But we're just going to be using create a blog and tech blogs, as well as our blog profile. Alright guys, so that's it for this video. We already set up our browser router via React Router DOM, and the next one is going to be adding more to our React page or React app. Alright, so I'll see you then.